Grid projects. Grid projects are an excellent tool to aid in interpretation of a congested slab. Collecting multiple scans along the provided grid templates allows the creation of 3D images of the structures within the slab. Grid Project Mode allows the CX user to image these structures and scroll down through the different depth slices as if each layer of the slab is peeled back to expose a given surface. This is especially helpful in situations with conduits or other embedded objects cutting across the grid at various angles, as well as post-tension cables that typically ascend and descend through a concrete slab. To begin 3D imaging, select Grid Project from the main CX project screen. The Grid Project General Settings menu appears with the same information you entered for the 2D scan. Settings can be changed here if needed. Two settings that are absent are the acquisition mode and the point interval, as the grid projects can only be completed using a wheel for data acquisition. Once the correct settings are entered and the correct zero depth has been found, you can select Continue. The Grid Project Manager appears with default values for the standard grid mat, either 32 inches by 32 inches or 80 centimeters by 80 centimeters. If you do not wish to use the standard grid paper, you can make the grid as large as 55 inches in any direction or as small as 8 inches. The default grid size is recommended. By selecting the Use Standard Carpet icon, the grid size reverts to the default grid paper at any time. In this example, we will use the standard grid carpet. Select Continue. The next menu is the 3D Grid Project Overview. This is a good time to review the settings before starting the project. If the parameters are satisfactory, select Start. Basic information about the grid project appears next to the graphical screen representation. The red triangle on the screen graphic is indicative of the antenna position. Place the antenna at the Start Here First direction, parallel to the y-axis, which is also line 0 on the grid template. Line up the permanent hash marks inscribed on the antenna with mat origin. Press the black button and scan to the end of the grid by aligning the inscribed hash marks on the antenna with the grid endpoint. The data line will stop automatically, and at this time an audible beep is heard. Depress the red button to proceed to the next line, and another confirmatory audible beep is heard, and the red triangle appears at the beginning of the next profile ready to scan. Repeat the process until the system graphical interface indicates that the grid profiles for the X direction now need to be scanned. Perform the scans in the X direction exactly as for the Y direction. Please note that you must move the antenna to the endpoint or proceeding to the next line is not allowed. If the profile is of insufficient length, the system will prompt the user with a dialog box indicating the profile is not complete. When the grid project is complete, select Process. After about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the grid parameters, the system will automatically process the data to create a 3D image.